Where were you when you found out Antwan Easterling was in jail?
Okay, so that whole story.
I mean, that's what it stemmed. We just went backwards, but that's where it all came from. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, we were at the locker room of the school waiting on him to come to the school. They picked him up the day we were supposed to load the bus going to the state championship.
Going to state.
Yeah, like they picked him up. He would catch the bus on 12th Avenue. So the police officers sat outside his house and waited for him to come outside. They didn't even pick it. They didn't knock on the door. They didn't tell his mom, yeah, we arrested him. They waited for him to come outside.
They kidnapped him.
Yeah, we sitting at the school like, okay, everybody here, where's Twan?
The stuff our kids go through.
And it's like,
not normal, dog.
Yeah, bro, like it was almost like a CSI movie. You just sitting over there like, wait, so they picked you up on the way to school? Yeah. Oh, he 18. You know, he's an adult. And I think people misconstrued that. Like,
right.
If you put an 18-year-old in a room full of 14-year-olds, he gonna be a little more mature than them, but is he really gonna be acting like an adult?
Right. All right, man, we back, man. Caneville, I'm D, that's X. We got my boy AJ back in the house, man. This is gonna be what, part 3, man. We actually could do maybe 10 parts, man, with this, some of the stories, man, got, because there's a lot of stuff we didn't touch while you were here. But first off, man, spring football just started, man. Y'all started 26?
Yeah, April 26th.
How we looking out here, bro?
It's work to do, man. We put it together, you know, but hey, that's why they pay you, coach. You gotta piece it together. You gotta get potential out of kids that, you know, even if they don't know they have the potential, you gotta find a way to make them believe they got the potential.
In spring, you've had maybe 30 springs. You've been coaching so long. When you go in spring, right, is it always the same thing? Or sometimes you see it and it's like, oh boy, we ain't got to really coach them this year. Like, we got some seniors. Is it different every year?
If you have returning players, for the most part, you kind of know what they can do. But when you get kids, you know, you lose a lot of kids 1 year, you got to come back. It becomes find out your best 22 players and get them on the field. That's what spring is about for us. We gonna find the best 22.
Trying to find out who's who.
Yeah, we gotta find the best 22. You gotta get your best 22 on. Like you don't, you did.
Who do y'all playing y'all spring game?
We got Palmetto.
Where y'all playing them at?
We were gonna play them at Trash, but since they opened up the stadiums now, we're supposed to go down to Tropical. I think we're playing down there.
I got a question. Have you ever had a team as talented as the Palmetto team was this year? Now, before we start, we already know you had Dalvin Cook, Joe Yearby, but when you start thinking about it, right? Have you ever had a team as talented as the one that they had with, what, 7 D1, major D1 kids on that level?
Nah, that team they had was a freak of nature, man. You got the number one D lineman in the country, number 2 cornerback in the country, probably number 6 or 7 safety. Like, come on, bro. Like, that's unheard of.
Right.
Nah, I ain't never had that. Like, the final product might have been that. When we finished, we won. Then, you know, you get all of those extra stars and stuff after that. But coming in the door, nah, we never had that.
How do you not win it all with a team like that? You've had talent. You've had teams that wasn't as talented. Y'all won multiple state championships. You the man to talk to. How do you not win with a team like that?
Honestly,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, hopefully, you just
who they end up losing to in the playoffs.
You got no answer for me, dog.
Nah, I think they lost to Vera Beach or somebody in the playoffs.
It had to be somebody up the road.
Up the road.
Yeah,
we did the game against with them in the West, and they actually have more talent than the West.
He said he don't know. I'm stuck on that.
I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but it's when you like you say, you see it on paper, you say, well, damn, boy, they ain't finna lose.
Yeah, right? You see it on paper, you like, they got some dudes. Cause listen, that 56 they had remind me of 56 at Daytona.
The one you said with the best ever played again?
Like, that dude was like, hey, man.
He was unblockable.
He's a problem. He's a problem. And he showed against Northwest. He was a problem.
He was, and then Savion.
Man, I got the tape. I still look at the tape. I'm like, yeah, this dude was a problem.
First play of the game, it was like. I was like, oh my, this gonna be a long night, boy.
Man, look, he looked like a superhero out there, like amongst kids. Like,
Right.
that dude was a problem, man.
Then they had Savion, and Savion, you couldn't move him. So they had that team. That team was loaded,
man.
Right.
That team was loaded, man.
So then their quarterback goes down. The quarterback go down in the middle of the playoffs, and that kind of set them back, and so they had to go wildcat.
Which I think should have benefited them a lot more because now your best player on offense is going to have the ball.
Brashard looked good.
Start with him.
Yeah, it looked good. He looked good because Brashard has been So Brashard was a running back his whole life. I don't know where the slot stuff came from. I don't know Brashard tired of taking hits. I don't know what that came from. But his whole entire life, he was a running back for the Richmond Giants. You know what I'm saying? Then he became a slot wide receiver for them. But then they reverted to the wildcat because the quarterback went down. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. Because we're looking at Mr. Wildcat right here.
It's good. It's good.
This man reversed to the Wildcat to win state championships. You know what I'm saying? Did anybody call you? It was like, hey, bro, give me a blocking assignment.
Nobody called
Nobody
me,
hit you up.
Like you do, but
It's good, though, because, like I said, you got your best player on offense. He's going to have the ball now. Let him make the decisions.
Right.
He's going to either give it or he's going to keep it. We seen when he was at receiver, they wasn't getting the ball. So, give him the ball.
Is it a secret to running a Wildcat? Because you said already you never had a huge offensive line. Like,
nah, man. I mean, it's no secret. You got again. That's why you got to identify. You know, you got a special talent starting off with the ball in his hand. So you got to make him an illusionist with the ball in his hand. He got, first of all, his ball handling skills. You got to work on that. You got to make sure it's great. Because when he stick the ball in somebody else's belly, you got to have everybody believing that he's actually going to hand the ball off.
Right.
Because everybody expects him to keep it.
Right.
So now you got to just figure out the perfect scheme to make people give you what you want them to give.
okay.
At that point, like, you know, the kid, he wasn't the best thrower, but he could throw. I mean, he could get the ball out of his hand.
Right.
So, I mean, you still had the threat of throwing the ball when you needed to.
Right.
So it's like running wing T. Once you play a wing T team, you know they're gonna run the ball. It's no secret. But when they throw a pass, they complete it most of the time.
Yeah, especially if they have success running the ball.
Yeah, you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
You got everybody eyes in the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the time, a guy's running wide open.
Yeah, I think it was Bishop Moore, Rock Hollindale to sleep like that. That shootout Hollindale had with Tyler Huntley up there when Hollindale lost to Bishop.
Yeah.
Man, listen, man, they obviously they could not stop Bishop Moore, and when they put that ball in that boy's stomach and pulled it out, that tight end was running wide open.
Every time
He could have just ran around the field any way he wanted to run around the field. He was wide open.
Carson used to do that with J-Boy and Santana.
My point exactly. Santana,
They done ran it so much.
University of Miami.
They done ran it so much, and then you know Santana running wide open down the field.
Santana didn't have 600 catches.
J-Boy was a musician.
He was a musician with the ball.
Yeah, he was.
And that's why I said ball handling skills.
Right.
When J-Boy stuck that ball, and I don't care what running back it was. Running back could have came to Kansas City from Beacon Hill. It didn't matter. You looked and said, that kid got the ball. And everybody went that way. And then all of a sudden, J-Boy stand up and it's like, oh, no, wait, he still got it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to, come on, bro. You got to work on what you trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, because it's funny how the mind works. Like, what's an excuse for one guy is a gym for another.
My point is that.
Yeah, it's funny how our mind works. But I mean, everybody's not playing under the same pressure. Everybody don't have the same expectations.
Yeah,
this thing right here got a high expectation,
Very
bro.
high,
Sometimes I don't even
Very
understand
high.
how y'all meet it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's Central, Northwest, and then Hurricanes when it comes to expectations.
Right, bro, you lose one game over here with us, and the city's like
We
fire.
yeah.
Like, they don't even know y'all. Like, they forgot who y'all is. It's like Men in Black. Every year, it's like, all right.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, y'all realize like how hard it is to.
Yeah.
First of all, if you're successful, you got to keep the kids humble enough to want to practice and keep the enthusiasm.
Right.
That's part one. Then, as coaches, you can't get complacent and think that
That's stuff,
you're
that's
right.
stuff people don't even think about.
Like you got to go to practice with actually a harder approach than a coach that's trying to win 2 games. Because you know you got talent, and like I said, talent the hardest thing to coach.
Yeah.
Because kids tend to get out the system when they know they got talent.
Egos.
Right. Ego, yeah. You got a kid. If I got a kid out here running a 10-500 and I say, hey, man, run a curl, he going to say, coach, why? I can just run past him. Him and the quarterback automatically want to check. Right. They don't understand if I throw 10 verticals and I complete 5, it's 50%. I'm failing.
Yeah.
And that's not a high percentage ball.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Man, they redid the classifications, man. The class y'all in what, 5 still, right?
Yeah, they moved us to 5. Man. So they switched up.
Y'all got Hollandale, American Heritage, and all them in that class.
Right.
But look, the one I want to see y'all against Hollandale and the Heritage. Hollandale and Heritage got this little DBU who got the best defense thing going on in Broward. And I keep telling them, like, man, y'all got to see Central regardless. You know what I'm saying? They might not have all the DBs that y'all got, but y'all still got to see Central. Right? So, but we don't see that Dade. We don't see nobody from Dade. I'm like, that's it.
Listen, man.
Sober.
I've been hearing all the chatter. You know, I don't really get into the social media war. I feel like on social media, everybody the tough guy.
Of course.
You know, that's
behind the
just,
keyboard.
That's just how I observe it. I done heard people say, yeah, y'all really ain't got nothing to Dade County but the West. I mean, my thing is, when we play, you can't measure Central and Northwestern game, the season off of the Central and Northwestern game.
Right.
Because one of us going to play our best game no matter what. It's an inner city rival. We less than 2.5 miles away from each other. Right. Those kids all go, they stay on the same block. You know what I mean? So they all been playing against each other all their life. So it's just going to be, at that game, it really don't even come down to coaching. It come down to will. What your kids are willing to do to win. That's what it boiled down to. Now, that game over, everybody else get it. Like, it's for real then.
I mean, that's what happened. Like,
and don't let the team that lose got to play everybody else. You got a problem.
Right.
Because now we mad because we lost. And like I said, then you start getting the inner city chat like, oh, y'all ain't the best team in the city. So now the approach in practice is completely different. The focus is different. Because now you're trying to prove that you're the best inner city team. You don't care who you're playing outside of that.
You ever took a loss and went home and was like, man, we need that loss? Maybe you wouldn't tell nobody, but you was like, man, that ain't hurt that bad. Maybe we needed that.
Man, one year we went to Camden County and we lost a game. And we got back on the bus. We lost, it was like 56 to 52. They won by a field goal or something like that. It was outrageous.
Right, you said it was outrageous.
Yeah, man, because that's the loudest stadium I ever been in. We wouldn't even be able to hear each other standing right here.
Camden County, who y'all played?
We played Camden County. I don't even know who's on that team, but that.
Oh, it was Camden County y'all played?
Yeah, the atmosphere is crazy.
And y'all lost?
We lost. And I got back on the bus. And that's when Coach Lockett was there. That was our year, the first year we won state, with the 2010 team. And we kind of got in there, and it was like, okay, we lost. And the kids kind of told the coaches, get off the bus. They wanted to have a meeting with the team.
You were early in the season?
It was the first game of the season.
Okay.
And they kicked us off the bus as coaches. They had a meeting and said, look, at this point, everybody else will get it.
Right.
And they meant it. Because we got off the bus at 2 o'clock in the morning, and we telling parents to come pick up the kids. They like, oh, we got practice.
Yeah.
They practiced at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Off the bus.
What team was this? Who was this?
That was the 2010 team. Charles Gaines, the Real Eskridge, Tommy Schuler, Rakeem Cato.
Right.
Those kids, that first state championship team.
Right.
They practiced at 2 o'clock.
At 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, off the bus.
Parents sitting out there. Y'all knew they were locked in.
Listen, and the parents didn't even complain.
Y'all knew they was locked in.
And I was like, yeah, we gonna be on the news. And Coach Lockett was like, well, they practicing. I guess we supposed to be coaching, right? I said, yeah, but I don't know how good this gonna go. They just got on the bus and practice, bro.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
They didn't care.
Yeah, nah, they ain't supposed to do this.
They didn't want to lose.
Past 6 o'clock, they ain't supposed to be on that deal.
Right, listen, and I was sitting there like, man, I ain't trying to lose my job. We just came off the Northwestern incident. But the kids told us, Coach, y'all can go home. We'll practice.
2 o'clock in the morning. All on stage?
All 56.
Yeah, y'all knew y'all had something in.
Yeah, when we lost, I said, oh, everybody else gonna get it. I saw that, I was like, but we locked in. It's a wrap. Yeah, I'm like, it's no excuse you can get them.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but that's how you know you got a committed team. So that loss, I actually went home and was like, oh, we needed that.
Right. So you just mentioned the Northwestern team, and this is one of the things we didn't get to talk about last time. You guys created, y'all created one of the greatest high school football teams ever.
Right.
You know, at Northwestern, and then you had and we'll get into the Antwan Easterling stuff. The Antwan Easterling stuff happened, and y'all had to half of Northwestern teaching staff got fired. Seemed like basketball coaches, volleyball, janitors was getting fired, and y'all had to relinquish that team to Billy Rose.
Right.
And he picked it up. Were they seniors when he picked it up?
Yeah, they were seniors.
They were seniors, and y'all had, so that year y'all sat back and y'all had to watch that team from afar. First, I wanted you to tell me, like, how did it feel to watch them? Because I remember seeing y'all I remember being at the Orange Bowl, right? And I remember you being there and Patty being there and Northwestern was playing, and y'all had to sit and watch that. How did that feel, bro?
I mean, it's kind of like being a music artist and watch somebody else take credit for perform your song.
Right.
I mean, it was hard. It was a hard pill to swallow, you know, because in history books, whoever was on that coaching staff will always get credit for a state championship. And as coaches, we always feel like,
well, I tweet this, so that means
like
that means this my team.
I felt like they should have called all the old coaches in and said, man, y'all just as much as part of the state championship as everybody else. Like,
was anything said to y'all ever?
Nah, man, like that. It's almost kind of like it's Dade County's biggest secret. Like it's the biggest flaw ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you kind of threw people under the bus that really didn't have. We couldn't control the one or the other.
No, yeah, I know. My homeboy got fired. He was the basketball coach. He got fired. I think that was the last time he ever coached. I think so.
I mean, because they left a bitter taste in your mouth. Like, bro, we went across ESPN, the bottom line, the ticker. Like people were calling my mom like, "Hey, he okay?" You know what I mean? It made it seem like we were actually there in the room as the incident was happening.
When the TV say something, man, our people get crazy. But listen, so when you watch the team play, right? Mm-hmm. Were you watching? Oh, hey, coach, look, they changed this or they changed that. Or were you watching your offense?
We were watching all.
So Jacorey was running. Basically, Jacorey just kept it going like a well-oiled machine.
All right. I'm gonna be truthful.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and give you the whole play. They playing Deerfield.
The famous Deerfield game, right? Yeah.
Game. And they were struggling offensively. So we were all sitting in the stands. Me, Coach Lockett, Coach Perk, all of us in the stands. We like, yo, man, they struggling. It's still our kids. We don't want to see them lose. So.
Hold up. We can hear him, right? You can hear him? He good? He good? Get some exclusive right here.
We kind of made a phone call downstairs on the sideline and said, hey, man, put Jacorey on the phone. And we told him the adjustment.
Really?
Yeah, in the middle of the game. And there's only about 4 people that ever know that story.
What was Deerfield doing? What was Deerfield doing? Because Deerfield had shoelaces, right? Wasn't he their quarterback?
Yeah,
and they were kind of talented on the defensive side.
They were good.
What were they doing to stymie that offense? Because that offense was unstoppable throughout the whole year.
Man, it was just kind of like, they were just doing stuff that I think Jacorey just couldn't pick up on without, seeing it from the top.
Right.
It's different when you got guys. Like, I can give you my whole playbook, but you won't know what the adjustment is. You won't know ins and outs of it to say, okay, if they do this is what we should be doing. So when you got the guys that created the offense sitting up in the stands, and like we used to always say, we got that 4-headed monster.
Yeah.
It was a problem.
It was.
It was a problem.
Because EJ told me, he said, man, I went out to practice, man, and Jacorey running the offense. So you think it got to a point where a kid didn't have enough wisdom to decipher what he was seeing? Because I remember listening to that game. I was in jail. I was at the prison, work, and I was listening to it on the radio. And I remember, like, the offense wasn't doing nothing. I was like, whoa.
I wouldn't even say he didn't have enough wisdom. I just think, like now we have huddle sideline.
Right.
So we can actually see stuff on the sideline. Like we can run a play.
Technology
kind of like NFL, but he didn't have that. So you had to your adjustments had to be from somebody either upstairs that could see the whole field,
right,
or actually knew the offense. Like it's harder to make an adjustment from the sideline, especially playing the game, because you don't see the whole field.
Jacorey got the ball at the 99-yard line, right? And if
Sean Spence, the Sean Spence 1-yard stop.
If they don't score, they don't go down as the greatest team ever, right?
They lose. They're talking about that being the greatest team ever is done.
Did you, in that moment, what you thought was about to happen?
Well, we made the phone call the series before that after they got stuffed.
So he had start having some success, or
I mean, we knew when he came back out, it was going to be fine. Because he was cerebral again. So once we told him what was going on, he was like, the adjustment was put a tight end in the game, 2 receivers on the same side, put what most people call the H formation, put Aldarius inside to take him off the outside.
From y'all to Jacorey. There wasn't no coaches involved.
Yeah, it was fine.
From y'all to Jacorey.
We actually called the resource officer on the sideline and said, give Jacorey the phone. And Jacorey took his helmet off and was talking to us on the phone on the sideline.
Right.
And we told him that's the adjustment.
Watching him drive down that field, man, and score that, what was the emotion for y'all? Because those are y'all kids. Y'all had them kids as freshmen, right?
Right.
Those are y'all kids, even though they got on Northwestern clothes, y'all are longer Northwestern coaches. What was that emotion for you, bro?
I mean,
because nobody gave but with y'all. That's Billy Rowe team. Nobody really thought about how y'all felt about the situation.
I mean, for us, man, you know, it's still our kids. Like when we see those kids right now today, it's nothing but love.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if I see Lavonte, you know, no matter what, he's like, "What's up, coach?" He embraced me like I'm still his coach. Right. It's never, "Oh, y'all didn't coach us." When we talked to Jacorey, you know, when Jacorey was getting ready to do his firefighter thing, like we talked for like 2 hours. Right. And we go down the whole roster, like who's doing what, who's doing this, who's doing that. Yeah. Like it's never, man, y'all weren't our coaches.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But did it feel like we won? Like we
oh yeah, we still feel like
it felt like we won.
We feel like any success they had, we feel like, you know,
y'all had a hand in it.
Yeah, we had a hand in it. Even when they went off to school, we still stayed in contact with those kids.
Right.
For us, it was just important to see them succeed because they had been through so much.
Where were you when you found out Antwan Easterling was in jail?
Okay, so that whole story.
I mean, that's what it stemmed. We just went backwards, but that's where it all came from. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, we were at the locker room of the school waiting on him to come to the school. They picked him up the day we were supposed to load the bus going to the state championship.
Going to state.
Yeah, like they picked him up. He would catch the bus on 12th Avenue. Uh-huh. So the police officers sat outside his house and waited for him to come outside. They didn't even pick him. They didn't knock on the door. They didn't tell his mom, yeah, we arrested him. They waited for him to come outside.
They kidnapped him.
Yeah. We sitting at the school like, okay, everybody here, where's Twan?
The stuff our kids go through.
And it's like,
it's not normal, though.
Yeah, right. Like, it was almost like a CSI movie. You just sitting over there like, wait, so they picked you up on the way to school? Yeah. Oh, he 18. You know, he's an adult. And I think people misconstrued that. Like, right. If you put an 18-year-old in a room full of 14-year-olds, he gonna be a little more mature than them, but is he really gonna be acting like an adult? Right. And I think they, you know, we kind of made 18 a legal age, but when you got kids in high school that turn 18, I don't think they should be considered an adult. Right. Honestly, because you're still in high school. Amongst other kids. Yeah, if that's the case, then they're 18, send them to their own school. Maybe go to a party with all 18-year-olds. Yeah, like, y'all leave out this door, y'all come in this door. When they're Rome, you're going to do like the Romans. Right. If all the 14-years-olds was in there playing with doll babies. Got the best one-liners ever. What you say? When in Rome? Do like the Romans. Like, you know, you 18, but you surrounded by, it's more 17-year-olds and 18-year-olds. So you going to do what the majority's doing. What was the story? What was the story? They saying that he was 18 and he had sex with a minor, right? But who told? Like how that came out? Like did the police find it out? Did somebody? No, man, that was a whole big thing with because when the story came out, when the girl had sex, I don't want to get nobody else in trouble. Right. when she got caught, she didn't get caught with him.
No.
He was just the icing on the cake.
Right.
You know, they thought they was gonna use him as the leverage to get her.
It's always the biggest one. The Allen Iverson story. It's always we always start at the top. Yeah. So, well, who was in his house?
Yeah.
It just started like that.
You know what I mean? It kind of, and then you got a whole lot of people got in trouble for something. Like I say, I tell people all the time, man. You don't know if you don't know what your kid's doing when you're not around. So how can you hold adults accountable for something a kid made a bad choice?
Right. We had to point the fingers.
I mean, yeah, it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I tell people all the time, I didn't start getting in trouble until I make my own decisions.
Right.
When I listened to my mom advice, go to school, do this, do that. I was a straight A student, refined person, like walking around, thought I was a quiet boy.
Right.
But when I started making my own decisions, like, you know what, I'm gonna skip school today. I'm gonna go ahead and do this.
X, where you was at when all this was happening?
I was coaching at Edison.
Oh, you was coaching football?
Yeah, I was at Edison.
Yeah.
When all that was happening.
Did y'all feel him? How did he get to play? Because I remember him playing was a big deal. White land rapist play and all this crazy stuff. How did he get to play? Like, what was the reason he was able to play?
If you notice, they never said anything about taking the state championship away from us.
Right.
Because we filed our paperwork. We didn't hide anything. That's why we were mad as coaches. We was like, yo, how we get to be the fall guys? We actually sent letters to FSSA. We sent letters to Dade County Public Schools saying, look, this is the situation. He's been arrested, but he's being accused.
He's been accused. That's what it was.
So
he wasn't. He had to be convicted.
He had to be convicted.
Yeah, it wasn't no conviction.
Right.
So we like, is he allowed to play? They said yes. So my thing is, do you take a kid that's been playing football for 4 years high school, he gets to the epiphany of high school football, the state championship.
Right.
He's at the top of the totem pole. This is the last game of his career.
Right.
Do you take that away from him on the accusation? And then if he's found not guilty, you just took away this kid maybe highest moment
His career.
in athletics.
Right.
So you gotta, and again, we in this game to make young men better.
Right.
So do I sit down and have a conversation with you and say, hey man, you made a bad decision. You're gonna get a chance to play tonight, but don't let this be your story.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't let being accused as a rapist become your story.
Right.
Go down as being the guy that ran for XYZ in the state championship.
But what year was this?
It had to be like 2007.
2005, 2006.
I wasn't here.
That's 6, okay.
I was just about to move back from North Carolina. What was the sentiment in other schools? Like how did y'all see?
I know a lot of they were like, man, the bad vibe was like, oh man, these coaches, they don't care about the kids. They finna let them play. They ain't got nothing but gangsters and thugs. And I was like, man, y'all don't even know the situation for one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like he said, like, why would I punish a kid when it's still accusation? You know what I'm saying? And then being in a predominantly urban area, we tend to not give kids a lot of second chances. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You get in trouble, now you want to punish them. You know what I'm saying? You could have, at his highest moment in high school, probably could have stopped playing football from there and went on and did something else bad. But they allowed him to play. So, you know, a lot of schools is like, man, that happened over here, he ain't playing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's just how it is. But
listen to proven guilty, right?
That don't work in the United States. That's just
Deshaun Watson going through this.
That's just a saying we say in the United States.
But my thing is this. I got a baby mama right now in contempt of court. I got the right to have my kids, time sharing, and she keeping them, won't let me get them. I can't fix nothing until I go to court.
Right.
Can't do a damn thing.
You can't go pick your kids up and say, y'all living with me. You gonna get accused for kidnapping, and you gonna lose the custody battle with it.
I can't fix a thing until I go to court. What's the difference? What's the difference in somebody saying, hey man, the 18-year-old had sex with the 16-year-old, and then everybody got a problem with him playing a football game. What's the difference? It's still can't fix nothing until you go to court, right? It's still innocent to proven guilty, right? So why do we see situations different in different situations?
And I just think in America we kind of tend to lean to whatever the media puts out they can kind of make you lean one way.
Don't kind of, dog. The media controls how we think.
Yeah,
and if you don't have a brain of your own,
you stuck.
The TV will raise you and your kids and your kids' kids.
Right.
So it's not a kind of thing. It's
I mean, I tell everybody.
So it's the sentiment of what was put out, basically,
yeah.
And then the public opinion goes with, whatever.
Because if you look at it, if you go back and I actually recorded the ESPN ticket stuff, and I still have a VHS of it. You know, this generation don't know what that is, but I still have the VHS recording.
Right.
And it says Antwan Easterling arrested for rape. It doesn't say accused of rape. It says arrested. So instantly, when you hear the word arrested,
you go to ESPN.
You say, "Hey, he's guilty."
I never. You know what? I never thought about it like that. You put one word in, take one word out, and in your mind.
Yeah,
he was 18, and they were saying she was how old?
She was 14.
Yeah, she was 14. So he was like a senior. She was like a ninth grade, a freshman.
And it happens all the time. I'm gonna get out and say it happens all the time.
Man, I told y'all last time. Pick up half the dudes in America on that charge.
It happens.
Everybody in this room
when you
if 18 to 16,
when you a senior, you got little ninth graders coming to school. They hot. They looking at seniors or juniors. It happens.
Right.
You get half the dudes in America on that.
Man, like you said, it was a situation where the individual got caught. You know what I'm saying? So now you know the parents and everybody feeling like
Catch-22 is one of them draw fours you can pull out at any time on anybody in high school. And like I said, it doesn't, like you just said, it don't make sense. If he 18, he in high school, we should call it something different.
Right.
What's the name? Went to jail behind that. The kid from Georgia, right?
Yeah, the one they took his whole high school career
for
5 years, and then they let him out.
Yeah,
Banks was his name.
Banks,
they let him out after 5 years, and you like, yo, that's crazy.
Right.
Because at the end of the day,
what I'm saying?
At the end of the day, you still. I know we're gonna tell our kids, hey, listen, don't have sex till you an adult.
Right.
But the reality of it is,
I was 15.
the same people that's telling us don't have sex, don't do this, don't do that. When you turn on every TV show, there's a love-making scene. We glorified in everything that's done on TV. So when you think about it, it's glorified in music. Like I told you, it's the everyday, whatever you see, you tend to gravitate to. This generation, if you listen to the music, the movies, it's on there.
And then access phones to that.
Yeah, and then they got access to phones. Like I tell people all the time, when we growing up, if you had that one person that had a Playboy magazine, there was 15 of us looking over each other's shoulders trying to look at that magazine. Now, I can just send you the link or airdrop you whatever, and you got everything you need.
They can see whatever they want to see, bro.
And they can get exposed to it.
I remember finding a garbage bag full of dirty magazines when I lived in Antwan Village, right? And I kept it like in the alley, in the apartments, and it was in the alley over there.
And you go in there, y'all look at,
and I just kept it outside. They got it right in their phone, fool.
All day, every day. Like
right in their phone.
That's what I said. It's the gift and the curse, man.
Yeah,
this generation, unfortunately, like, don't get me wrong, I love my cell phone. But it's the gift and the curse.
Yeah.
Like it could go bad in a second.
It's about to get worse. I don't know if worse is the word, but technology is about to go somewhere else.
Even with this whole
with the virtual and all this, it's about to.
Even with this whole image and likeness stuff.
Yeah.
Again, it's the gift and the curse. People we want it because we say, hey, the kids should get paid to do this, do that.
Right.
But when the government get involved, I think we're gonna retract that.
In what way? Talk to me.
Well, yeah, the government, man. Look.
That's guess what?
If high school kids could get paid
like
to do
IRS
stuff,
and taxes and stuff like that.
Yeah, they gonna get that shit.
Yeah.
You think they gonna let you make money now? You telling me you gonna be able to go to a car dealership, do a commercial, get $40,000, and the IRS ain't gonna be sitting there like this?
So now what you're gonna have is you're gonna have colleges saying, IRS telling colleges, if them people don't pay us, they can't come to college now.
And here's the kicker.
People wonder why I talk about finances on my platform.
Here's the kicker now. You gotta remember, most of our kids are in lower income areas. They qualify for full financial aid.
Right.
Imagine if you make $100,000 and it's taxable income.
It's over.
Now you don't get that.
Yeah.
That refund check that you've been getting,
It's
you're not getting that check no more because that's taxable
it's
income.
gonna be a dilemma.
That's taxable income.
It's gonna be a dilemma for.
So now what?
Right.
Now you in school, you done ran through that $100,000 because you never had that kind of money before.
And you can't get financial aid.
Because guess what? You make $100,000, your mama gonna say, "Well, I need 20." Your daddy might say, "I need 30."
Right.
You gotta look out for your homeboys. But you in high school, you don't know, you ain't thinking about, I need to put this up because
Cringing even thinking about it.
Because now
Right.
they gonna tax me on this.
Right. Now, the pros don't think about it. Nobody got drafted last week. 90% of them didn't think about it.
You gotta have an accountant
Yeah.
for image and likeness now. Because if you don't,
I think
you
they
gonna end up owing a whole lot of people some money.
I think they about to open it up, AJ.
Listen, they gonna open it up.
They about to open it up.
Because we fighting for it.
Yeah.
But the thing
I
about
think
it
they about to
is,
open it up. I think college football is going to be a place where you can go and get rich if you're that good. I think eventually it's going to be. It's not going to rival pro football, but I think college football is looking at this like, man, listen, man, before we let it go,
right.
we finna let it become a wild, wild west. We finna open it up. You know what I'm saying?
And they putting in place what they gonna do.
Yeah.
Before I say, okay, I'll do. Go ahead. Before we get married.
Uh-huh.
It's like anything you do before you get married,
Right.
you got to sit down and go to counseling, and y'all got to figure out y'all living expenses. Y'all got to figure out, well, what are we gonna merge these accounts? What are we gonna file together as single or married? Because if we file together, we probably gonna lose money. Like you got to sit down and figure out all that.
Right.
You think they ain't doing that right now? Saying, oh, we gonna let them make some money.
Well,
How we gonna tax it?
Oh, bro.
Oh, they put that in place already.
Listen, they don't ever do anything without having a plan on the back end.
This plan been in place for probably for about 4 years.
Yeah.
We just hearing about the conversation now, but they've already had a plan for 4
You know what
years.
they about to do.
So my thing is, if you're going to allow these players to make money, then you should have some kind of financial literacy to tell them to put some money in a tax shelter or something. Because if
They're
you
going to have handlers, though. They're going to have agents. They're going to have agents. Agents going to have
so-
their financial
so
and now
then-
that same system finna trickle down to college football.
So you telling me 17, 18-year-old, because when I left to go to college, I was 17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
If you gave me an agent and they started talking about, oh yeah, well we got a 401b and a 401k, and we got or you can invest in a government bond, I'd have been like, huh? Man, my mama just started giving me a whole $50 bill. And you trying all of a sudden, you gonna tell me about, bro, I don't know about that.
Adults don't even know about it.
I don't know about that. You understand what I'm saying? So
That's what's
asking
about to happen, though.
kids
That's about to happen, though.
to do something that most adults can't do.
Right.
So how now you asking them to trust, to put all their trust in somebody else.
Right.
I'm just a firm believer in when it comes to my money,
Uh-huh.
I need to see where it's going and know what it's doing.
Right.
I can't give all the trust to somebody else.
Right.
But a 17-year-old, even if you put his parents involved, they not used to dealing with that kind of stuff.
They don't know either.
You're right. You still have no support system.
Right. But listen, man, give us a minute. We're going to be right back, man. Y'all make sure y'all like, share. That's Snipes X. We're going to come right back, man, and wrap this thing up with him. All right, man, we back with Snipes. 8 state championships, right?
Yeah.
8 state championship. Miami Central, man. Spring just kicked off. X, D. Listen, man, you got your Snipes hat going on, bro. Tell me what happened, man. You say you got some sponsors or something?
No, man, I ain't get no sponsors, but you do. Well, my last name Snipes.
Right.
Company kind of reached out to me and
Yeah.
they sent me some stuff. I mean, I guess they saw the last interview I did with you.
Yeah.
And they was like, hey, man, your last name Snipes.
Uh-huh.
They sent me like a little care package.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they was like, man, next
What all
time.
they sent you?
I got a hat, I got some sweatpants, a sweatshirt, some socks.
Look at that, man.
I think it's kind of cool to have my name
We
on
getting
stuff.
kids offers. We getting coaches sponsorships. Man, this man,
Yeah.
man, look at this man.
We ain't get, well, y'all ain't saying I get yet. What I get? I need a
Nah, but
with an X or something.
that's cool though, bro.
Yeah, man, listen, I didn't even know the company it's been around for a while and it's big up north.
Yeah.
And like the DMV, Maryland and Virginia League, area.
That's cool.
So it was cool. Man.
Nah.
I can't complain.
So listen, we just talked about Antwan Easterling and all of that went down. They go daylight right there. Antwan Easterling and all of that went down. I just got a few more questions. When Easterling got arrested, he was at the police station by himself?
Yes. Because he was 18.
And they was treating him like he was an adult.
Treating him like you're an adult. He's not a minor.
Yeah, when you're 18, man, when you're a black 18, you're an adult.
You no
Y'all might not
minor.
want to say it, but I'm going to say it. When you're a black, you're an adult. You're black.
You no longer a minor.
What?
Yeah, you no longer a minor.
So they was questioning him by himself?
Yeah, they questioned him by himself.
How did he get out of that?
Well, he didn't really get out of it. This guy gave him a diversionary program because he actually admitted to having sex with the girl, but he didn't know he was confessing to statutory rape. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't know that. He was just thinking, yeah, I had sex with somebody in my school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's why they
go on the record and say it's hard being black. It's hard being black. Even in 2021, it's hard being black.
And that's why they took him down by himself.
By himself, because he didn't know. He didn't know the law.
So, for one, he don't know that. I ain't got to say nothing unless my lawyer or my parents. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
That's law.
Of course he didn't know that.
But they took him down by himself, saying, "You don't know this. We're gonna put you in the room with somebody who's gonna
so
make
he
you."
admitted.
He admitted to it, not knowing that he was confessing to statutory rape.
So they arrested him?
They arrested him.
And then he bailed out?
We bonded him out.
Y'all bonded him
As
out?
coaches, we all passed up and bonded him out because we knew he didn't know what he was really getting himself into.
And this is before y'all knew what was about to happen to y'all.
Yeah, we didn't know.
How further did that happen? Like, when did everybody start getting? When did the janitors and the cafeteria workers and everybody start getting fired behind it? That was much further later?
That was probably like 6 months afterwards. Like,
right when school about to start over.
School about to start over again.
Was it stressful? Not knowing.
It was stressful because we didn't know, because the kid, he always told us, man, Coach, I ain't do nothing to the girl. So we didn't know. Like, we actually didn't know that he had sex with her.
Right.
Until he was arrested, and he said, man, Coach, they told me if I tell them what they want to hear, they'll let me play in my state championship game.
Right.
So we like, okay, well, what did you do? He was like, well, I told him, we had sex. And we like, well, bro, you told us you didn't do it. So why would you say you did it if you did it? And if you didn't do it, then stick to your guns. Like, don't let nobody change your story.
Man,
but we didn't
First
know
48 wasn't out, man. Nobody didn't know how to deal with the police.
Man, we didn't know that, man. We was in there like, bro, you just confessed to. And we knew he didn't have no money to bond out. So we went and got a bond agent and we got him out of jail.
Right.
See, people don't know that. As coaches, you make $1,100 stipend for a whole year, and you got to bond somebody out that got a $4,000 bond. They kind of owe me some money.
They got to owe you some money.
They owe me some money.
Yeah.
No, man, that's a tough one, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's crazy, but you can't let the kids sit in jail.
No.
I mean, still, like we said, we look at them as our kids.
Right.
And it goes beyond coaching. You know what I mean? Because we get the phone calls.
I talked to him this morning. He was going to come to the show. He been saying he was ready to talk. But we didn't know if that's a sit down with him or that's a documentary, man. Like, we really need to tell the story. Nobody has ever told the story, I don't think. You know what I'm saying?
And I think he should be afforded his chance to tell his side of the story.
Right.
You know what I mean? You get people that get convicted of a whole lot of other stuff, and they get documentaries and everything else. They get to tell their side of the story.
Yeah.
You got a kid that was 18 years old that made I didn't want to say a bad decision. He made a decision that most 18-year-olds.
Yeah, it's a decision that happens.
Yeah,
Like,
he just
happens all the time.
He did what most 18-year-olds would do.
Right.
And it cost him. It cost him a career. It cost him a whole lot of stuff.
Right.
So.
Yeah, he had a bad. His name went from glorifying athlete to these.
I mean, for the people who don't know what we're talking about is Antwan Easterling, one of the greatest running backs ever to play in South Florida. His senior year was accused of rape because he had sex with a young girl who was 14, a ninth grade. I'm just saying that it was a ninth grader when he was a senior. He was in high school with the girl. He did with boys what we do, and she was younger than him. Bro, listen. I remember counting the women I had sex with in the 10th grade. I didn't even know it was a law. I I didn't know it was a law till I was probably 30 years old. That I ain't have no bottom. I couldn't run around sticking my finger in girls who wasn't in my grade or my age. I didn't even know. But I was a young high schooler too, though. I was one of them guys who graduated at 17. I don't think I never made it to 18.
Yeah, I was 17 when I graduated.
For real? Yeah. So if you were 17, you were straight?
Nah.
Still?
You still considered a minor. So if you were 17, have sex with an 18-year-old, you got raped.
Right. But 17 could have did 14.
Yeah, technically, 17 can't do 14. Because remember, in the state of Florida, is no such thing as consensual sex between minors.
All right. Hey, Jake.
What's going on?
Oh, y'all lying.
There's no such thing as consensual sex.
Listen, man, Miami Legend just walked on the set. He next. He didn't know we were live. So listen, bro. That's AJ, man. Listen, we're going to have a part 5, 6, 7, man. We got plenty of things we talk about. You brought up Lavonte David. That crazy story of him being one of the best players on that team. Right. And at the time, they didn't even look at him. We didn't know he was one of the best players on that team. So, man, appreciate you.
Still the only one in the NFL. The only one still in the NFL.
He's the only one in the NFL. What's Spence?
He's still playing. Spence retired. Boki got a burger place now. He's doing his thing up there.
Really?
Yeah.
It's almost time.
Yeah, man. Listen, all of them still. The one thing I can say is they took whatever success they had and they made it into something else.
Right.
And that's what, at the end of the day, they all productive members of society, and that's what you want.
And that's all you guys for, bro.
Yeah, that's it.
Like I tell people, man, nobody makes it to the NFL, bro.
Man, listen, it's 1%.
Nobody makes it to the NFL. We all gonna be productive men in the community, and that's what we trying to build. You feel me?
That's all you trying to do, man.
Yeah. All right, bro, man. Listen, man, appreciate y'all. Y'all make sure y'all like and share. That's AJ, that's X. D, we out.
It's gonna take 3 motherfucking things, and that's what? One shit. I say, big time players.